Appreciate you doing this, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, first Big Ten Media Day for you. Welcome to the Big Ten. How's it feel?
Thank you. Good. It's feeling more real as we've been here all day. So yeah, it's exciting.
One of the things I wanted to ask you about with being in the new conference is how personally, as a quarterback, you'll handle East Coast travel.
Right.
I'm sure you've thought about it a little bit as a team, and then also just how you adjust to the time change.
Right,
How are you kind of thinking about that?
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely thought about it in terms of the time change. I think it's really important to get in a routine throughout that week. So if you're going to have to wake up early on East Coast time, going to bed really early on West Coast time, I think is really important, because you can't just get there Friday night and be like, okay, I'm going to go to bed at 8 p.m. So I think really getting in a routine to prepare throughout the week is going to be important. And then I think just preparing like it's a normal game, not making too much of it, not being like, oh no, it's cold, what are we going to do? So yeah, I'm really excited.
You're not used to the cold weather, are you? You're not.
I'm not. Someone asked me today, like, what's the coldest game you've played? I've never had the temperature.
Have you seen snow at all?
I've been to snow. I've played in the rain a couple times, but it's never been like freezing.
Yeah. Throwing the football is different when it's cold too.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah. yeah. This training camp, what are the one or two things that personally you want to get out of camp? Yeah,
I really want to see our team come together and continue to take on the identity of being selfless. And I really want to see us continue to come together, I think, in that same breath. And then I want to see our offense really take off. I think we've done so much work throughout the offseason, and I'm really excited to see that kind of in practice and play.
Yeah. Tell me about the confidence you got from the bowl game last year and just going out there and not knowing if you were going to be the starter or not for the bowl game, and then to play the way you did on a national stage had to really propel you into this offseason pretty well.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if it was confidence as much as it was reaffirming. Like you do something over and over again in practice, and you're like, I know I can do this in the game. And I think just to be able to see that kind of come to fruition was really, really gratifying for me.
What aspects of I've heard you talk, and we've talked about Lincoln Riley, the quarterback developer himself. But what aspects of his system do you think allows quarterbacks to be successful?
I think it's his system, but I also think it's how he calls his system. I think he's one of the hardest workers I've ever been around, and watching him prepare, I have full confidence in him to put me in the best situations possible to be successful. And I think it's when he calls certain things and his ability to, like I said, put us as an offense in the best position possible to make sense. So I don't think it's necessarily like there's a ton of crossover when it comes to what plays people run, but I think his timing with what he runs is really unique.
I've loved hearing you talk about how you've dreamed of being the USC quarterback your whole life.
Right.
I think I asked you a question weeks ago, and something about how's it feel to be the USC quarterback? Like, listen, I've been preparing for this my whole life. It just feels like it's supposed to happen. But I want to ask personally, now that we know you're supposed to be in this moment, what does it mean to you personally to be in this role in LA, in the biggest media market in the country, and be the starting quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, I think just first off, it's a tremendous honor, but I think just being the quarterback for me is not. I mean, it was a step along the way, but just being there is not enough for me. I think you have to be there and then do something with it. So obviously, like I said, it's an honor to be there and to represent our program. Represent the city, as you said, when we travel and stuff like that. But I think it's now that you're there, you got to go do something with it.
Who on the team is going to surprise some USC fans this season?
A lot of people. I think one guy that's not being talked about enough that should be is Mekhi Lemon. He didn't play enough, or he didn't play a bunch last year. He ended up actually filling in at defensive back when we had injuries on the defensive side of the ball, which was really, really impressive. I mean, I remember seeing him out there playing against Oregon, with 2 weeks of practice at defensive back. So just a football guy, and I think someone that's had a full offseason at receiver and is really going to go kill it.
Yeah. How's Zachariah Branch been in kind of developing into, obviously had the electric freshman season, but taking the next step in year two? Yeah,
I mean, like you said, he's electric every time he gets the ball in his hands, and I think he's done a ton of work throughout this offseason running track and also with on the football side of it to really become a complete receiver, because the more we can get the ball in his hands, the better we'll be as an offense, right?
No doubt. Last question for you. What's, for you personally and for the team, what's your goal? How will you define success?
Yeah, I mean, I think the expectation at USC is always to win. You know what I mean? And that's exactly what our expectation is. I think when you look at it, it's difficult to look at the entire season and say, like, this is what we're going to do no matter what. I think if we were able to take it week by week, prepare for each opponent, stay selfless, stay team driven, I think we're going to have a ton of success. I'm excited to see that happen.
Awesome, man. Good luck.
Yes,
Excited to see it.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Man.
Yes, sir.